It's v.h.s.x. What do you mean?
Alright everybody, welcome back. We got another video suggested by one of you guys in the Discord community. Shout out to Domichi for suggesting this forum post that has to do with basically killer experiences don't matter. You know, this just in, killer experiences are not relevant and don't matter in the DVD space. I mean, is this beyond what we've expected? No, not at all. But let's go ahead and actually give it a read before we continue. So, let's see. They say killer complaints are overblown. So it says, I've seen someone on the internet say stuff like the killer experience is horrible. Frankly, this is an indicator of either a skill issue or playing a low-tier killer. So right off the bat, this is a self-report, because we understand that people who are disagreeing with this have never played killer, play killer extremely casually. If they do decide to play killer, they do not actually engage with killer long enough to actually go against competent players, because every time we ever see a post like this, anybody trying to disagree with this and talk about, oh, when I play killer, I don't have that. Yeah, because you don't have MMR in that side. You spent most of your time on the survivor side. Your MMR is only increasing on that side. If you increase your MMR on the killer side, then you'll go against more competent players, because that's you winning will raise it, right? So just consistently keep playing it and going against more and more competent players, you're going to have a hard time. That's just how it works, because you already have in combination the constant survivor handholding with experienced players. It makes it impossible to do anything. So it's a self-report. You can say whatever nonsensical statements you want, but at the end of the day, you're wrong. Just because of the mere fact you lack any experience to be able to disprove that. They say, while there are some instances with poor map and matchmaking, you get rolled with no counterplay, even mid to high killers. So basically, he says that it doesn't exist, then proceeds to counter his own argument by saying, "Oh, but solo queue." What? Solo queue is a choice. Okay, I keep saying this time and time again. Number one, solo queue is a choice. Get some friends, go into a group. You'll have more fun that way. Killers don't have that. There's no like queuing with a killer player, not like to help it make it more fun. That's only 2v8. So this is a non-point. You can't say that, oh, but everybody has it, but so do survivor. Like, no, that's not the same thing. People aren't getting survivor anxiety. Like, they don't do that. People are not like not having high heart rates and stressing out and having anxieties and things for loading up survivor, because the effort is spread across 4 different people versus having the match be only on your shoulders. They're 2 different experiences. And we actually did have a survivor player who did play the killer side and is literally stating the same stuff that I've been stating, which I'm gonna link that at the end of the video, so you already know. They say, if you find the killer experience more frustrating than ever, then that's weird, because it actually was significantly worse. So now, as you can see, we have another one of the non-arguments. They go, oh, but before it was worse. I'm like, so it doesn't matter if it was worse before. No one's talking about patch 6.1. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about patch 9.9, whatever. We're talking about 9.8. We're talking about 10.0. We're talking about the current day of the game. So I don't know why they're like, we see this a lot too with survivor mans. Oh, but it was bad before. Like, who are we playing back then? Are we playing in 2017? Are we playing the DVD back then? No, we load up the game, it says patch 10.0. Duh. Like, what are you talking about? So, like right here, another self-report. They say someone with experience, which means that they don't have it, because that's just, you know, LARPing. The killer experience is easier than ever. No, it doesn't. The only time it would ever feel easier than ever is because you do not have any experience with the killer experience, because otherwise you wouldn't have to state as someone with experience. You don't have to preface the LARP with it. Like, you could just tell that you would have experience because you would have things to provide evidence with, but you don't. Then and then the other part is that you'll get like this person drops a statement and then counteracts it with another one. So they say you might get some unwinnable matches if you play too many matches in a row. So that means that, oh, I don't know, your MMR is increasing, or at least you're starting to reach the next like stage of MMR level, because there's brackets to it. So if you get enough of the points within that MMR level, you're just gonna end up going against more competent players. That's how winning works. So it literally just says if you win too many in a row, duh. Then they want to say the stupid matchmaking system gives you pity matches if you lose a few in a row. That's not entirely accurate. Unless we're referring to the MMR decreasing, which then that makes sense. So they're saying 60% kill streak. So that's not entirely what we're talking about here. We're talking about kill rate. So that's, as you can see, they say, oh, I have experience. It's all LARPing because you do not have any experience. You don't even know what they say. It's a 60% kill rate. So even with the terminology, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. LARP, stop it. They say the killer experience was generally that bad with a higher higher queue times. But to be fair, right? Isn't it actually like, what is it? Wait, actually, that makes no sense. If you're saying higher queue times for killer, that means that you're queuing as the killer. Therefore, why would it actually be slow? How would it be slower? If you're playing as killer, wouldn't that mean that it would actually take, you know, there's no point in applying logic to illogical, nonsensical statements. Makes no sense. But regardless, the only reason, like, just to disable this entire statement is the mere fact that a new killer came out with no survivor on it. A new killer that had come out by itself. So everybody who's either a Jason fan or is a killer player or tries out new killers every time, or content creators, all these other things, are loading up to play killer because they want to try out the new character. Anytime you've seen it with it, whether it be just survivor by itself coming out, or whether it be survivor and killer coming out, the queue times get adjusted accordingly. So once again, they want to say, as someone with experience, what experience do you actually have then if you don't know that? That makes no sense. So this person says, this is true, doesn't mean it's fun, especially since a ton of people love the low tier killers. You just have to genuinely be so sweaty or run the best builds for them in order to win against a semi-competent team. This is further amplified that the fact that every single survivor runs the same 5 meta builds, which is true. They do run pretty much meta every time. Anytime I've been on stream and I've gone against Matt in those matches, I show you guys every time what build I'm going up against. And the thing is that I only play the game on stream, so every experience that you guys are seeing is what I'm getting anytime I load up the game. It's not like I am playing off stream and it's like, oh yeah, haha. Like, no, not doing that. So that only to me furthers how bad it is, because if I'm just loading up the game for, we're gonna say 30 minutes to an hour, what, a few times a week or something, why am I getting the same nonsensical ass matches every time we load up the game? Like, that's insane. It's terrible. So this person says that this, I think it's the original poster, they say that's the way it's going to be as long as Swift are allowed in the same queue as the rest of the player base. They make this game passively worse for solos and killers. It took me so many years to just get an updated UI, survivor action shown. So they are a survivor, man. I don't know why they're claiming that they have experience with killer. They don't. No clue why this is company. Let Swift do whatever they want, give them the most fun gameplay DVD has to offer. The majority of the player base are solo players. That's not actually true. They've released data. Obviously, it's a bit dated now, but the data that we did get showed that there's actually less people in solo queue than there were on Swift. And it's definitely disingenuous to claim that every single person is a solo queue. That's just not true. Like, come on now. So I just find that hard to believe. And this right here is what goes to show, like, that I understand that this person is completely biased. Is that they say, anyway, if your opponents run meta, shouldn't you have to run meta to compete? So that just doesn't make any goddamn sense. Because, mind you, not everybody's loading up this game to start sweatballing, right? A lot of people are loading up the game in order to just play casually, or just to try out a fun build, or try out a meme build or something. They can't exactly do that, though, because they're going against the 4-man Swifts and the meta builds constantly. They're going against the hand-holding, base kit mechanics. So those things are hindered by the fact that you had to deal with those things. Not ideal. They say if your opponents try hard, you shouldn't be able to breeze through them playing bad on purpose. And then this person, so this is what I'm saying, like, they don't know what they're talking about. Because on one side of one statement, they say, oh, it's super easy. Then they want to say later on, oh, it's not easy now. And then they want to say again, oh, now it's easy again. And then they want to say, no, it's not. Now we have, you can drop your MMR by losing a few matches to get easy games. That's what you want. So now they are once again telling us what they've been doing. So here's why I have a problem with the DBD community. Because we see a statement like this where they say, the killer experience feels easier than ever. But then they literally stated themselves what they do to get those easy games. They literally stated that, right? And then when you look at the same person, who comes in here, where'd they go? They state you can drop your MMR by losing a few matches to get easy games if that's what you want. So then it's not easy then, because not every single killer player is trying to smurf their MMR down to get easy ass games. They're trying to actually play the game normally. Like, so that's inaccurate. You're not saying, oh, it's easy if you drop your MMR on purpose. You're just saying, oh, it's easy, so why is everyone complaining? Like, that, what are you talking about? Like, people, like, make no sense. So another survivor main rolls up and they say people wanting to be able to win most of their games without trying really speaks to the type of player behavior has been cultivating lately. However, that's what they were doing for survivor players, because if they weren't, they wouldn't be giving so much base kit this, base kit that, base kit hook it endurance increases, base kit speed off of unhooks. They would base kit freaking healing speed, base kit this, base kit that, base kit that, and it's like, we're gonna buff this perk, buff vigil, buff healing perks, buff the items, buff the repair speed, buff this, and it's like, where is the killer buffs or the killer changes that offers something positive? And this person, yo, is that do my eyes and see me? That is Demichi here. Let's go, bro. It says, how were brain dead designs fixed? We still have deliverance, shoulder the burden, vigil, and sprint burst still all insanely broken. If you're not playing a top 5, then you have the sweat insanely hard, and if you're on an M1 and you go against a meta team, you're basically waiting for them to make a dumb mistake that you can snowball off of. But even the second chance perks make that harder than ever, with the current event being treated like a second thought and have to watch all their work go away because survivors put plates on the table and healed everyone. Exactly. So how do you disprove that? You know what I mean? I'm really curious to see what that is. So if you don't like being the weaker of the two sides when you're meant to be the power role, just give up. That's good for your health in the game. Do that more hurt the game overall. So instead of actually providing a good piece of evidence to dispute it, they just say, "Oh, but the majority are just bad at the game." Can't remember the last time I had an effect to sort of the burn plate, but I'm like, dude, you just admitted to everybody that you lower your MMR on purpose. You're literally smurfing down your MMR to get easier games than trying to claim that, oh, everyone's wrong. I don't have a bad time, because you're lowering your MMR on freaking purpose. Like, you're actively smurfing your characters down to have easy baby games and then want to tell everyone they're wrong. What are you talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these people make no sense. I'm just saying, dude, like, it just makes no sense. So this person says, why should you be unable to play low tier killers? I mean, if my favorite killer is Pig or Ghostface, is it okay for the company to just tell me, screw you and your fun with your horror movie icon? I don't see why lower tier killer enjoyers should be unallowed from having fun in the game and being able to compete. I rarely ever play in a 4-man Swift, don't have enough friends for that. I play with my wife most of the time and I love her to death, but she's bad at the game. I can easily run most low tier killers for at least 1 to 3 gens most games. I do this because I enjoy getting better at this game. However, I don't think it should be this way. Even if I go against a very good Pig or Ghostface that know how to mind game and everything, that still doesn't matter most of the time, because if you practice and attempt to get better, you can win most of these mind games. Exactly. If I'm going to queue for the power role in the video game I am playing, I expect to be the power role. Hell, the only killer right now that I even feel remotely powerful on would be Nurse, and I still have doubts about that in like 50% of my matches. I mean, it makes no sense to be unable to enjoy the game you want to without having to be a 10k hour Andy that learns all the minor and major techs just to be able to squeak out a 2 to 3k. And that's been my argument for quite some time. Because as somebody who has dedicated the amount of hours like to playing Ghostface and still having to like literally high cortisol sweat ball gaming just to scrape a 3 is insanity. On the character I'm supposed to be I've mastered at this point. I've already dedicated so much time and energy improving and refining my gameplay, my playstyle, the perks I use, and all these kinds of things, and tracking, having a spreadsheet where I would track my wins, losses, and take notes on things and look over my gameplay, trying all these things to improve, and yet 2-hour Andy can press Shift W spacebar and then fly off with speed, or have a piece of wood to block you. And then have another one 2 feet away, and then another one 2 feet away, and then another one 2 feet away. And it's like, so why am I taking all this time to get better, and then Timmy No Thumbs can Shift W to pre-drop and just do the same exact thing as anybody else who's actually good at chase by just pressing random buttons? What is that? That's the problem. And when I think about a 10k hour Andy, I think about a respectable creator like One Pump Willie, who has streaks that conduct streaks with characters that we think are low tier. But we have to keep in mind that bro has so many hours. Like, there's so much time to do that as well, but also so many hours. Like, so of course he's going to be able to figure out the right play style. He's already got a big enough audience where he can kind of do what he wants, in that sense, where he can kind of pump out like whatever character he wants and just kind of try to attempt streaks or learn things on stream and still be able to maintain an audience and even revenue as a result. And not everybody can do that. Like, a lot of people are doing 9 to 5s, have school, have social lives, things like that are dedicated to that are dedicated to those things more so than they're dedicated to this game. So not everybody's going to be able to do that. So that is the problem. That's been my argument. It's like, why are we ignoring casual killer players, but yet we can sit here and raise up all the casual survivors, which then directly bleeds into directly buffing the experienced players, who then can use that to triple sweat their sweat. Like, what the heck is that? This game apparently is a party game to everybody, yet everyone wants to sweat and win all day on Survivor specifically. It makes no sense. And it would make, and even furthermore, it's like, if we're talking semantics, because a lot of people like to talk semantics with the whole, oh, but they want the kill rate to be 60-40. At the end of the day, like, if that is the case, isn't the entire job of the killer to kill? But if they're not killing, shouldn't that be like a bad thing? You know what I mean? Because I mean, survivors are literally called survivors. To survive is to withstand and come out of something that was presumably dangerous and potentially could kill you, or at least, like, you know what I mean? To survive something means you were able to overcome. But that's not what survivors are doing right now. They should be called the thrivers, because they're thriving in every match they are in. It should be surviving by the sunrise, is what I've constantly been saying as well. These are things that should have been in the game, but they're not. They should not be thriving this crazy high. Like, they should not be doing these things if the entire point of the game is death is not an escape. And oh, like, come on, bro. Anyway, they say the only reason kill rates are so high in the game is because most people don't want to learn how to get better at the game. They'd rather rely on busted perks, insane base kit nonsense, and blame the other side for their issues. If this game had a ranked mode where people were made to communicate with each other through in-game VC, use clock spots, and learn how to, I think they probably meant check spots, and learn how to loop a killer, kill rates would plummet to around the 20 to 30%, maybe even lower. Solo queue keeps kill rates high and will always keep kill rates high on these low tier killers because most people just refuse to increase your skill and actually learn the counterplay. This doesn't mean that these killers should stay weak and low tier. I've been saying that since day one. So, of course, once again, they just say some nonsense. You're able to play them. I'm like, nobody said you can't click on them and hit start match. Like, nobody said that you couldn't. So I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. It really just makes no sense. So they say when the player risk gets better over time, the devs buff these low. They buff these low tier killers. So are we actually gonna pay attention to what the buffs were, or are we just going to say, oh, they got buffs, so there you go? It's like, because those are two different things. Pig now versus before has changed. I'm like, but that doesn't really mean anything. Oh, but the dash, you know, it got better, and it's like, that doesn't magically make Pig like as good as a Kaneki, a Dracula, a Wraith. Like, there's still ass. Like, that's the point. That's the point. It, like, we're not saying that they never were buffed, and we're not saying that they never received changes. We're saying that the changes that we are receiving are so minuscule. I mean, Doctor in the recent patch we've gotten before this one was a perfect example of that. We had a decimal point difference to his base kit power, and then they nerfed the add-on as a result because they wanted to make it partially base kit instead of just giving him the extra stuff with the add-on. No idea why. Survivors don't learn counterplay nor improve and ends up with inflated kill rates, but that proves my point. The killer experience, even for low tiers, is perfectly fine. Not at all, because that's that correlation doesn't cause causation statement. You know what I mean? Just because the kill rates are high, mind you, they're not even reaching, like, which, mind you, it depends on what you consider high kill rate. Mind you, like, if their baseline was 60 and we're barely, like, the highest we've seen was Vecna, I think was at 50%. Currently it's going to be Jason because he's new, but they don't even hit the 60% mark. And what they're arguing is that if the survivors were more experienced, then the kill rates would plummet even further than the 40% it's at now, or the 50% that it's at now. And it's like, you can't expect to reach the same performance, which directly proves what we're saying. It's like, and then they want to say that the lower tier killers are meant for a casual audience. What? Like, what? Bro, and like, this has never been stated by behavior. This has never been stated by the license holders. This has never been stated by anyone. Like, you're literally like making up like some kind of statement on from your own imagination to justify the fact that the game is imbalanced. Bro, this is what I'm saying. You can't, man. You can't with these people. It's ridiculous, bro. And this person says, I feel like the event alone explains how killers feel. If you can honestly tell me you don't think this is the most survivor-sided event ever done, then I have no words for you. It's not how the normal game is, but the fact that it went live as it did is what made Killer's player feel the way they feel. Constantly feels like everything is always against them all the time, because time after time it is proven that it is actually true. And I'm glad that there are still some logical people that hang out in the forums on occasion, but as we've seen time and time again, these people have no idea what the hell they're talking about. I mean, we pick it apart every time, and it's still just we still come out on top. I mean, there's really nothing really disproving the truth, I mean, at the end of the day. But I want to hear what you guys think on the topic at hand today. Let me know your thoughts. Consider checking out the other channels that aren't about this DBD garbage. And because we have a Rivals channel, and we have another channel that's going to be for like video essays and discussions and things that have nothing to do with this nonsense. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know your thoughts. All right, let's go ahead and read off these wonderful members. We got Patreon, Crow Vader. All my YouTube members, Brando, Evil Blade, Cap Courteous, WTF You're Not JLo, Evil Peach, Hargan Falcon, Dole Whip, Noxus, Zero Mocker, Jack, Christian, and Crow Vader. Really appreciate you guys supporting, man. And if you also subbed on Twitch, just know that you got love coming your way too. Appreciate you guys, man.